Have you ever wondered if a single test score can truly define a child's ability? Imagine two students. One consistently earns top marks but struggles to work with classmates. The other doesn't perform well on written exams but is creative, confident, and a natural leader. So here's the question: which child is more successful? Today, we're exploring what standardized tests measure, and what they don't. What are standardized tests? Before discussing their advantages or disadvantages, let's first understand what standardized tests are. These are assessments where every student answers the same questions under the same conditions and is graded using the same scoring system. Schools use them to compare student performance and monitor academic progress. They provide consistency, but do they provide the complete picture? What can standardized tests measure? Standardized tests are useful for measuring academic skills. They can assess reading comprehension, mathematics, grammar, writing, and certain problem-solving abilities. This information helps teachers identify learning gaps and understand where students may need additional support. So yes, standardized tests do have an important role in education. What can standardized tests measure? However, education is about much more than academic knowledge. Can a test measure creativity, leadership, empathy, curiosity, or the ability to work well with others? These qualities play a huge role in a child's future success, yet they rarely appear on a standardized test score. A classroom example. Imagine student A. They consistently score highly on every exam. Now imagine student B. Their grades are average, but they confidently present projects, solve real-life problems creatively, and inspire classmates during group work. Both students have valuable strengths. The difference is that a standardized test may only recognize one of them. Why do schools still use them? If standardized tests have limitations, why are they still widely used? Because they provide valuable data. They help schools track student progress, identify learning gaps, improve curriculum planning, and decide where extra support is needed. The problem isn't that standardized tests exist. The real question is whether they should be the only measure of learning. The challenges. Like any assessment tool, standardized testing also has challenges. Many students experience test anxiety. Teachers often feel pressure to prepare students specifically for exams. And sometimes classrooms become focused on memorization instead of meaningful learning. Most importantly, one score cannot capture everything a child is capable of. Other ways to assess learning. This is why many educators support combining standardized tests with other forms of assessment. Projects, presentations, learning portfolios, group activities, and classroom observations. Together, these methods provide a much more complete understanding of student learning. Question for the audience. Now I'd love to hear from you. Should schools rely mainly on standardized tests? Or should they combine them with multiple ways of assessing students? Share your thoughts in the comments. Standardized tests can measure academic achievement, but they cannot measure every talent, every strength, or every potential a child has. Every child learns differently and contributes differently. Perhaps our goal as educators isn't simply to measure learning, but to recognize learning in all its forms. Because no single test can ever define a child's full potential. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow educators and parents. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep looking beyond the classroom walls, because that's where the real learning begins.